Hello, hello. What's going on, everybody? I think Mike Miller just went live. I just got a notification, so you guys might want to scoodle-daddle on over there. See what Mike has to say. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? I don't know why I feel like I have to make a cup of coffee before I do this. I blame Scott Adams. I think he's hypnotized me. I had to quit watching because I want to drink too much coffee. It's decaf though, by the way. I'm not gonna stay up all night. Yeah, all the cool kids are here. I think Mike Miller is also streaming. So, you know, if you leave the chat, I know you're not a loyal friend. Where's the black magic? I'm gonna talk about good magic. At some point. I don't know. I want to get warmed up and then we'll come back to that topic because that's more serious. Busy. I had a weird couple of days. I've talked for 2 days straight. So part of what this show is about, right? It's not a show. First of all, it's not a show. It's just a peek behind the curtain, I guess. Although that sounds kind of weird too. What this is about is my wife Elizabeth and I have ventured since the success of the campaign into starting a publishing company, and it's been absolutely insane. Lots of highs and lots of lows, and that's part of what we're talking about. It's a peep show, yes, albino Thunderbuns, whose name is not really Thunderbuns. So. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I want you guys to participate in some of it, and you can come along, ask questions, get a peek. I'm going to show you art as we move along. Today we have this. This is the Bass Reeves issues 2 and 3 scripts by Kevin Grevix, and I haven't read them yet. I have to read them after this show. Yes, I have more Red Rooster. I've been inking some pages, so next time I'll bring something different for show and tell each time, I guess. And that way you guys can kind of get a well-rounded look to everything that's going on. But I haven't inked pages for too many hours. I'm getting really anxious. Mike usually has to reset his streams because he's a premature boomer. Well, I'm not going to tease Mike for being a boomer because I'm going to make some mistakes myself. And I'm definitely not trying to do anything fancy. It's just me, a man, and a phone. And that's it. That's all I got. A man and a phone. Nothing fancy. No fancy graphics. I'm going to bring fancy show and tells. And you're going to watch me and occasionally Elizabeth come on here, go crazy while we try to pull this all together with Kelsey Shannon, who has a YouTube channel. It must be YouTube Kelsey Shannon, I guess. I don't know. Not sure what it is. If somebody can find it, throw it in the chat. So Kelsey's going to be drawing, and up he's drawing this book Nora's Saga for us. This is the one for Bass Reeves. Kevin Grevix, David Williams is doing art, and it looks beautiful, beautiful. He just sent this scene like a courthouse, and I know he was struggling with it, and like I didn't see his preliminary. He looks amazing, so totally amazing. All right, what have I missed? Oh, there you go. Thanks, Rainbolt. There's Kelsey's channel in the chat. So I'm just going to be kind of talking to you guys. I might do some very quiet live streams for some inking when I groove and going forward. But Kelsey's going to be posting a lot of his digital process stuff and drawing a lot on his channel. So if you're interested in watching a master artist work digitally and recording his process, then tune in. I know he's picked up a computer and it's super fast and he can whip these out and record all his videos, and he's going to put it all on display for people, at least a couple times a week. I think is what his plan is. But you know how plans go. But I think he's definitely enjoying it. Go check him out. And I'm kind of losing my train of thought. Yeah, so that's, if you're new here, or if you're just tuning in, that's what this is. So we're starting a publishing company. It's been pretty nutso. We actually have a lot of interesting stories to tell about how we got here, and and some really interesting stories to tell about what's ahead, about our interesting stories, which I'm incredibly proud of. This is going to be very cool. And Kevin is pretty awesome. Kevin is the creator, Kevin Grievous, creator of the Underworld film franchise, and acted in it. So anyways, he's an impressive individual. But you guys can engage here too and share the stuff. Pixel Trader, yeah, I'd love to bounce a coloring question off Elizabeth if she could DM me. I will try to remember that. I might need a prompt. I have been, it's been a long couple of days. Yeah, Elizabeth's been back. She's been awesome and super duper supportive and hustling big time. She's back there addressing postcards that people didn't have correct addresses on, or they got lost in the mail, and we're just trying to get the last of that licked. So we have to put a cap on that. In fact, I'm calling the cap now. If you haven't got it in yet, we need to send them out, and so she can focus on other work. But yeah, she's been amazing, and hopefully she'll jump on the chat more often. I'll encourage her. So what's the first topic on the stream tonight? All right, well, the first one was wielding magic. And I've been thinking about this a lot. So if you're not new here, you know, I like kind of touching on the topics of storytelling and things that are a little bit on the kookier side of stuff. And I'm really interested in, you know, story structure and mythology, and I don't know, I'm just interested in interesting stuff, and at least I think it's all interesting, and you guys are here because you like interesting stuff too. So wielding magic. So Patrick, who is my collaborator on a lot of this stuff, the guy who's working as our editor-in-chief, you're gonna get to know him. I'm gonna have him on again. If you go and dig up, we had an old futurist conversation where we kind of laid out some of that world from about a year or so ago. So that's, you can dig up that conversation if you're so inclined. But there's so much more now and new developments, but I just need to have him back on here and we'll have a chat. But we used to talk about, so he's my co-creator on The Futurist. He's a very talented individual. You'll find that out soon enough. And he's serving as our editor-in-chief and doing a fantastic job. I couldn't be doing this without him and without our other partner, David, and without Elizabeth. These are amazing, amazing people. But we cut our teeth together on storytelling, and we met in college, and just been kind of cracking this in code ever since. So appreciate that. But as we learned, we engaged our interest in comics and movies and storytelling and sort of the magic of that all, and then the roots of it all, and began to try to understand it on a very fundamental level as an adult. Then you start to realize that, you know, there's structure behind all this stuff, and you get you turned on to Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, and you realize there's this monomyth, and that humans are kind of like we're just genetically programmed. I mean, we are genetically wired for stories to receive data in this way, right? And you'll also know, if you're a regular on the channel, that I like to think of like weird, I try to be a consistent person. I try to think of like weird imagine, anyway, where they're, I've also been thinking about how magic is real, right? And it's all around us all the time. There are things like, you know, words, for instance, that could be used that don't have common definitions, and you can use this word to smear somebody even if it's inaccurate, or you can attach a word to somebody's neck essentially and make the word evil, and then the person who you've attached to becomes evil. That's magic. All magic, right? And in my opinion, this is in the opinion of a crazy artist, so take that for what it's worth. So it's all around us. These things manipulate us all the time, and we're not really super aware. This is a little. Bear with me. I'm going somewhere. Also magic is telling, because the human brain is like a mushy computer that receives this like certain code, and if the code is written a certain way, then it just rolls through the brain, and then it outputs an emotion. So you can make the audience scream or laugh or cry or whatever, right? And if you become very good at this, then you're almost like a magician, right? I mean, I think there's a reason. There's a reason, and I think this is an honest reason, and this isn't a criticism. There's a reason Alan Moore looks like like a techno nihilistic wizard, and I appreciate that. Like he is a good magician. He uses words to pull all this stuff out of people and create impacts in people, and he used the power of the code, right? But this isn't a criticism at all, and not to be taken that way. Like he looks like a wizard. He's not lying to you. He's saying, this is who I am, and this is what I'm giving you. Now drink in my magic spells. Anyway, so the conflict I have is I'm incredibly proud of all our stories. I'm incredibly proud of what has been done. What Mark did on Red Rooster is really great. I'm incredibly proud of everything we've built with the Red Rooster storyline and what we have planned for it. The future is something incredibly proud of. What Kevin is doing, and what Blake is doing on Norra Saga, all excellent. And Patrick's doing a wonderful job at editing. But at a certain point, I realize, that what I'm creating are spells, in a sense, right? In a sense, and because if the story is successful, and these are good stories, they're good stories, and they come from a good place, and they're going in good places, and they're for good people, and I think that makes a difference. So I want them all to have a good purpose, but they are sort of spells. If the stories are done properly, then they lull you into it. They put you in a state of hypnosis, in a sense, right? You're pulled into a world. If we do this right, then that's what we're doing. So then you feel this kind of enormous responsibility, or at least I do, because like I said, I'm just a bit of a nutty artist, building a publishing company with some amazing people, in his sunroom on YouTube at night, drinking decaf coffee. So that's in the back of my mind for the last 2 days. And I've been on the phone for 2 days with some amazingly interesting artists. Kelsey, we talked to Kelsey earlier today, had a great conversation, and it was kind of about this very topic. And it came up kind of in almost an independent, I was going to do this anyway, but it just kind of, this similar topic just came up like in the conversation, and we had, anyway, we had a great chat about it. Kelsey's an interesting dude. We're going to get him on here too, and pick his brain. He's got an interesting view of the world. And he's super talented. Anyway, so like I said, it's been a lot of talking for a couple of days and emails. All of it's very, very important. And I'll get back to your chats in just a second as soon as I get through my thought. all of it's super important. But in the back of my mind, the whole time has been this thought about, oh, these are actually spells, and if I put people in a state, like I'm responsible for all this now, and I actually feel this as a weight. It's like an important thing. It has to have a moral response, right? So this kind of weighs on me a little bit because it's now like a duty. So if you're going to put people in a state, then you have to do good. So everything has to be for a good purpose and have a payoff that matters and affects their life in some meaningful or fundamentally positive way. Anyway, it's something I wrestle with, and it probably sounds nuts, but I'm trying to explain myself here as best I can. But also, it's sort of a warning, right? Because you know going into an event like that you are going to have that experience, and you're going to be in a state of receiving information, and it's like a different kind of brainwave state. So anyway, I'm just super weird about that kind of stuff, and I probably think too much. I'm going to dig through your chats, and we'll talk about something else. Okay, I'm back to where I was talking about Alan Moore. All right. Sorry, I'm just looking for I'm glad you guys are having fun in the chat. Dr. White says, are you saying that you're going to grow 8 inches of hair, stop trimming your nails, and grow a beard? No. But I can't be dishonest about what we're doing. So I guess I'm just going to be who I am. And it doesn't come with a staff and a hat. We shall see. Now that I've unraveled all the mysteries, maybe they'll send me one in the mail from Hogwarts. No, yeah, Elizabeth said I couldn't have a beard. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are having a laugh. The mustache is coming in very slowly. And Elizabeth has not told me to get rid of it. But I think it's starting to look better. And I cannot grow a beard. I think it's the Cherokee blood. But it also makes me a little crazy, which is kind of fun. All right, Mellow E says, Mitch, have you read the Bloomberg article talking about Warner in DC? Do you mean the Forbes article? Because I haven't seen one from Bloomberg, but I will Google that. But I did read the Forbes article, and I forwarded it to some friends. Kelsey's well on his way to the whole wizard look and demeanor. Yeah, Kelsey's pretty magical. Albino says, it's about time you realize that, Mitch Breitweiser, we've been mesmerized by Red Rooster and the Futurist since you pitched the stories and showed the concept art. You and Elizabeth are wizards. I don't know if I want to be, but I think there's really positive stuff going on in what we're doing. I'm trying to separate myself from the work. Does that make sense? Also something to wrestle with? Because even if the work is really, like now, I'm in a different kind of position with what we did. Because Elizabeth and I own the company. And we have a business partner who also has a stake in the company, and obviously I'm not going to reveal the details. That's all private information. But we set about building the system fundamentally different than everything else. But that anyway, that I'll more about that later on. Sorry. Confirm, Mitch, you're a wizard. No, I don't want to be. What I was trying to get at was, I'm sort of divorced from, like, being too egotistical about all of it, because we're serving. I'm tied to others, and it's in some ways more difficult, but it's going to scale a lot better once everybody's on board and everything's rolling. But what I'm trying to say is I have no intention of being a wizard. That there are a lot of people checking. There are, Patrick's looking over the scripts as editor-in-chief. For some reason, people are loving what we're pitching, which is incredible. And I'm glad people are resonating with what I'm telling you guys about what we're doing and the stories and all that kind of stuff. That's super duper exciting, and I love that. But there are a lot of people involved, and it's not about me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the guy that got a lot of people to the dance, right? That's all I did. So we created the Red Rooster. We had help with Mark, who did a great job. We ran a successful Indiegogo campaign, and then found an interesting business partner who thought we could solve some interesting puzzles about the comic book business, and we ran the campaign. It was a huge success, and a business plan became. We kept running it in front of people, and people kept enjoying what we had to say, and we kept the line open to some really great talent like Butch Geis the whole time, and then Kelsey came on our radar, and he's fantastic, and Blake and David and Kevin, everybody, and just the stars kind of aligned for it, and now there are a lot of people involved, and I guess I feel sort of responsible for all of it because I got everybody to the dance, but now there are other people keeping time and creating great things, and we have a lot actually to share with everybody, but I don't want to spoil it all here. Get to your chats. I kind of went on a tangent. Moo Butt says he is oddly drawn to the mustache. Well, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It's never going to be great and mighty, but it's mine. Marshall Victory. Good storytelling creates a mythology that is magical enough in its own way. And kind of what I'm want to do a little bit over time here is, I'm not the greatest storyteller. Patrick is much better than me. Blake and Kevin, obviously, I want to get them on and talk to them and pick their brain. I mean, but Patrick and I are kind of on a good wavelength on story. So I want to reveal a lot of in fact, I might be a better host for that for somebody else, because I'm just as curious as you, but I've engaged all these people and asked them tons of questions on story and structure, and I certainly have my own concepts and ideas, but I'm almost maybe be a better filter for some of their ideas, and then you guys can learn as I do about story structure and their tips on character and narrative. That would be pretty fun. Just spitballing. Like I said, this is kind of a random stream. Mr. White says, I want to cover Allegiance on Insider. Oh yeah, I've heard about Insider. Somebody read me. If you have free promotion and Schiller hearts out for your team. That's insider.net. Insider.net. I'll check all that out. It seems like, is it something very new? Anyway, regardless, I hope you do well with it, and I will check it out. I might need some prompting and some reminding. I'm spinning a lot of plates, guys, on with a lot of people, and it's I can forget some little things like that. Just get all slip through the cracks. Yeah, mustache is coming along. Thank you for popping in. It was sort of a gag at the start of the show. It's not a show. It's a broadcast. It's the start of these broadcasts, and I think I like it, and I think I'm gonna keep it until Elizabeth can't stand it anymore. Dr. White says, yes, Insider is brand new. We just created it to help out the community and get more promotion to indie comics, casting a wide net to bring people in, and then filtering them to Insight creative projects. Well, that sounds like a noble ambition, and I think you guys are good fellas, and I'm assuming you're guys. That's gonna get me in trouble. I will check it out. I will check it out, and I definitely wish you the best. And I think there's a lot of great guys doing indie stuff, a lot. Uh, I think the lines have blurred significantly on the medium, if you know what I mean. I almost think the word indie is kind of like another magic word that doesn't mean anything anymore. I'm just saying, think about it. Just think about it. You know? Scotty Richard Studio. Mitch, have you done any cons in Branson? I haven't been to Branson since I was 12 years old, and I played the virtual reality machine where you were a really goofy set of Pixel Man who could shoot balls at the other Pixel Man. Do you remember that? I beat my little brother, which probably wasn't very nice. I should have let him win. But he had his chance. Okay. He says they've been doing conventions in Branson for years, the convention center for the last few years. I think Branson would be a good place to promote Red Rooster. It probably would be. At this very moment, I'm actually just trying to cast a little bit of a wider net, simply because time is so compressed for what we're doing, and traveling is just going to eat up way too much time. So I'm trying to cast just a bit of wider net. But I have some ideas for conventions, and I want to interface more with smaller and medium-sized conventions, personally. And I have a different idea for larger conventions. We'll see where that goes. Like I said, it's a good idea, and I don't want to spoil it. But I like the idea of doing more shows, like something that would be the size of like a Branson, which couldn't be too big. Medium-sized markets. I think it's quite possible those people could be underserved. I don't know. That's something to think about. Dr. Wright response. Okay. From Insider. That's why we don't call them indie. We call them insight. Okay. Yeah, I like it. I think that is smart. I support that decision. I've given that advice to a couple of other people as well, and I think it's catching on. Wonderful. He also says, because they incite creativity, hope, drive, and will. Those are all good, positive things. Speak with a voice of voices and hopefully reach further together than we can alone. Yeah, I like that. I like the cut of your jib. Pixel Trader says he loves small conventions, way more FaceTime with creators. Mr. Josh says, never let little brother win. And that's the way nature is. That made little brother tough. It's smart. But just don't be mean. Okay. All right. I'm about through the chat here. It's kind of late, and I want to get on to a couple of emails, and I might actually catch some drawing tonight. And I think I've got like a totally free rated draw tomorrow, except I have a meeting with that designer. Remember the designer? Andy, I'm well. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. The designer, I don't have his sheets here, but I'm meeting him for lunch tomorrow. Anything you guys want to say to the designer? I think he did a really good job, personally. But this is all a team effort. I'm open to your advice. I think we have a smart crew. So meeting with the designer, and I like what he's doing with the landing page and everything. And I think I just wanted to, we have a little bit of work to do on that logo and the copy, which I'm not really crazy about. But I think I want this designer to help us with some of the layout, get a nice through line, right? So the design of the design of the books, and I have ideas for how it goes, and I have some things mocked up. But this is not my expertise. I do enjoy logo design and graphic design quite a bit, but I have to be laser focused on that as a single thing. And right now I need specialists. So I'm gonna have him do this book layout from end to end, and just I thought his presentation was excellent, clean and slick, and then it'll match the website and the book and yada yada yada, and they'll all sync up. Anyway, I'm just you're watching me just kind of spitball to myself about my lunch meeting tomorrow and what I intend to cover. So that's how life is. I'm spinning a lot of plates, but I'm very laser focused on the broader objectives. And if you tuned in the whole way, you'll realize I'm wrestling with some concepts, some conceptual things that I share here, which is kind of nutty. I should just probably talk about Twitter drama. That would probably make my YouTube show more interesting, actually. Jim Bobo, thank you, Mitch. Your time is valuable. I appreciate every time you go live. Thank you. I think there is some value in what we're covering here, and I actually think I think it could be extremely interesting, both for other people who want to try fearless things, who are fearless and want to take some risks and strike out in the world and make an impact. We may fail totally, but at the very least, you gotta peek at somebody, a group of people that are, balls to the wall going for it. So that's of value, I think. I think I have a network of friends who also could have a lot of value, and we can talk to them soon enough. I'm just trying to establish a voice and a culture here first. Yeah, I think there is some value to this. Okay, Scotty says, so how many titles are we working on? There are 4. Red Rooster, The Futurists, Bass Reeves, and Nora's Saga. I need to probably make this all very clear in the description box and repeat. I need to probably add those back to my Twitter bio. We're gonna have some social media accounts up soon for Allegiance Arts, and I hope you all go and check those out when they go live, and then a landing page. So it's all in the works. It's just, like I said, it's a lot of plates, and I've got some specialists, but everybody's sort of leaning on everybody's sort of counting on me. So, and I've also got wonderful people like Elizabeth as well, who's my eyes and ears. She's always catching what's in my periphery that I miss. And she's an amazing woman. Of course she is. Go get you an amazing woman. That's for sure. They are worth their weight in gold and more. And amazing partners like David and Patrick. What is this about? Yeah, no drama. Yeah, no drama here. I'm going to keep that to a minimum. You never know when things might pop up. People are crazy, but not everybody. You just got to kind of take people as how they are. People have their nature, and you just have to take them as they come. And generally, that gets me along pretty well. Um, all right. Agreed, we need places to go to just draw and get away from crap. Well, I mean, this could be a place for that. I think Kelsey's stream is going to be cool. Everybody's looking forward to Nora's saga. Yeah, Kelsey's crushing it. It is by far, he is moving ground, and it looks amazing. He's a pace setter and an incredible talent. I mean, just amazing. Albino Thunderbuns, Mitch, you guys are interesting enough. Well, let others talk about other stuff. That's outside of producing creative work. Yeah, it's all good. There is a room for all voices. But this is what it's going to be, what it's going to be. And it ain't going to be anything fancy, but, you know, I have some interesting people around, and we're doing some interesting things, I think. And we're definitely trying to achieve some big goals. And I think that's interesting enough reason for some people to watch, and that's good enough for now. Allegiance Arts and Entertainment. Yes, that is it. Hello, Art of Reed. Scotty Richard Studio. Did you ever go to Dog Patch? Yes, I love Dog Patch. I went many times. Yeah, and they had the yeah, Dog Patch was amazing, and now it's like a ghost town. They had I guess the license or a partnership. And I don't know how this was structured, but with the owners, whoever owned the rights to Little Abner, and so all the Little Abner characters were there. At least that's how I remember it. I was very young, but I clearly remember the gal from Little Abner, the buxom blonde. Yeah, I remember that. It made an impression. And now I have my own, and she's perfect in every way. Who on earth could give Mitch a thumbs down? Yeah, we have thumbs down guy. He's a regular around here. I blocked a person just to, and I should unblock them and give them another chance. I had to set a standard. Order will be kept. You should have a Little Abner style new strip in Red Rooster. I would like to. I would really. We've talked about. I don't want to overkill it with Red Rooster. Just yet, you know. I hope this has some legs. But that would be cool, and actually have artists in mind that would be really great to do some Sunday strips. There's just a lot on the plate. Let me think about it. I don't know, you kind of got my brain stirring there. That's why I like coming on here, because you guys give me good feedback, and I think the YouTube audience, our little group here is, I think it's all smart people, and so I can rely on I think because you guys voted A. You're A team. You are A team. You voted A, so I know you're here for the right reasons. Twitter voted B, because they're fickle and they talk a lot. I'm just kidding. I love the Twitter people too, but they are B team. All right. Keep the garden clean. Yeah, I get it. I probably should have. I'm thinking the guy I blocked is thumbs down guy, or is this guy that calls me pencil neck, which is fine. I don't care. I'm over 6 feet tall. You can call me whatever you like, and I'm really confident. So don't worry about it. So it's either pencil neck guy or or blocked guy, or that guy with the chicken bones. Okay. In all fairness, B looks more serious, as in serious business. Okay, I want to tell you why. B is the wrong answer. B looks like a sports team logo, and it's really edgy. It's not a bad design, and I'm not knocking the design. I'm just telling you why it's not the right fit. I seriously think it's pretty good, except for 2 tangents that it had. But my brain is so wired for patterns that, like, I can't live with that. One that was white flying out of one of the corners, and the corner was supposed to be rounded and red, and it totally threw off the entire shape, the external shape of the skew, which is an important graphic in my opinion, because it's 2 graphics in one, 2 shapes in one, and they carry 2 different. They'll hit people, and people will remember it in 2 different ways, essentially. So where was I going with that? I've been talking, feels like 2 days straight, so I might lose my train of thought. The logo, A and B. Yeah, B is a good design, but it could be a like for like sports gear, or right? It's sporty. It looks like sports gear, and it'd be great for that. But what we are selling is really what we're selling is trust more than anything else. So I wanted something that felt like a big brand that people trusted and had been around a while, because I really want people to trust our work, and if this makes sense, like it needs to have the resonance of something you want to like leave around the house, like your favorite novel, or a designer brand, or Life magazine, or just like an everyday household product, because anyway, because I see these things just living in the domicile. I want these books to be accessible, and I think of a comic book. Now I'm gonna go on a tangent, and bear with me. This is my brain spinning new gears, and it takes a minute, but sometimes they lead interesting places. But the thought of a comic book, in my interpretation, and I've explained this to people, it's like a ripe fruit, right? And so if you're going to put something out in the public, and hopefully that it isn't just you guys are helping us establish a culture, but and hopefully you'll be interested in purchasing all these books too, and I would obviously appreciate it, but the ultimate customer has to be well beyond this small audience, which hopefully grows, but that's not really the point. So we have to reach people where they are. And if a comic book is ripe fruit and it's available in a public place and anybody can pick it up, and I want it to live in your house, on your coffee table, as a permanent fixture of your living space, then the comic book has to be something that is accessible to everybody. Whereas the stories could be, I hate to use the word sophisticated, but I would say they're densely layered. A lot, and I'm incredibly proud of what's been accomplished, but they're densely layered stories that I think a more like fully developed brain are going to enjoy. But they're bright and colorful and beautiful and compelling, and the images are beautiful, and they should be looked at by everyone, right? So I want 5-year-olds to pick this up, and they will, because a comic book is a ripe fruit. It's bright and colorful, and a kid's going to see that and pick it up 110%. And they should. They very well should. And what I mean is by that is our stories should be densely layered, and have the goal here, densely layered stories that are character driven and very layered, that inspire multiple readings, and things you want to treasure around your home and leave around your coffee table that are appropriate when your 5-year-old son wants to pick it up and look through this brightly colored fruit, which they should look at because it is amazing and inspiring, and they should seek to understand it. So that is essentially some of what is driving our process. And I don't know how I got onto that tangent, but I actually think that is an interesting peek behind the curtain, or at least a thought process on what we're trying to do. And that's what that's how we got there. It was the brand, the emblem itself. That's why I'm so focused on trust, because the brand itself has to evoke that, and then we have to deliver on that promise. So these are the things that sit in the back of my brain all day while I'm trying to solve other problems, or while we're, but anyway, that's what's not even behind the scenes, but all the way at the back of my brain all the time. Anyway, I've shared a whole bunch of crap with you guys tonight. So maybe I should do more night streams, because I think these have a different groove. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on the chat, and I'm gonna wind this sucker down. All right, just kind of catching back up. Sammy asks a good question. Tangent warning, I like that. That's gonna happen here. It's gonna happen. We are gonna go on some crazy tangents. Sam Marie has a question. Do you have a specific age demographic in mind? Will you stick to one demographic exclusively? No. There's no age demo. I think I think there's a couple of levels where, I think there might be 3 levels where you can appreciate a comic book. And we're trying to hit all 3 of the levels. And it's not about targeting a specific particular age demo. I think that is the wrong track to take. There are 3 demos, and you can hit them all with a multi-layered story that hits people on their own wavelength. So you'll have something for everybody, and I think this is all achievable if you think about it in those terms. So you have, fully formed adults like 40-year-olds, myself, and I imagine a lot of the audience here is probably in their 30s or so. Then you have, and we're going to appreciate, I think, some of the more nuanced aspects of what's going on. Excuse me. And probably the aspects of family that we want to have to say in our books. This is all very important stuff. I think that's going to resonate with people that are a little older, and they're going to want to share those books with their younger kids, even though they may not understand them. So you have that age group, then you have the developing brains, which are, in my opinion, let's be real here, it's like 11 to 26. I mean, we're still, let's be realistic. That's a broad spectrum, I get it, but I think that's a second layer, right? And that is more, I don't want to get too categorical, even though you have to think in categories, but it's minutia, not super important. But then also it's the third category, which is little kids, and because these are ripe fruit and people can pick them up and they need to sit around the house, I think we can provide something for everybody. Where the 40-year-old can then read this to their 5-year-old, or and 6-year-old, who are going to want to pick it up and look through it anyway and try to understand it. But the adult can tell the story in their own way, right? You could invent new things and make it simpler, and then the teenagers will enjoy it, and the younger adults will enjoy it for, maybe for whatever particular interest, whether it's mystery or intrigue, or they're into sci-fi, or the excellent artwork, um, or they want to engage in the story on a deeper level. And I don't intend that to slight any audience. And just I think you can hit the whole spectrum if you can do something that a dad can read to his daughter. You've done it, and that's the goal. All right, so I'm gonna loop right back around and catch up on the chat, see if you guys take me on any more tangents. Never Cold says the ripe fruit angle is pretty on point. Yes, I have given this some thought, and I think my mind works in metaphors, and I think in pictures. And you know, that's not that's normal for a lot. Like that's a pretty large amount of the population that has that, but that's just my point of view. So that's what you're gonna get here. I'm nothing special. That's what I'm saying. Good points made. Appreciate that. Great to hear the vision. Very exciting. Thank you. It's great to talk about it because I've been holding all this inside for a long time, or sharing it with a very small circle of people. And I mean very small. It sounds like I'm aiming for a candy comic. No. Think Indiana Jones. Think Indiana Jones. That's what I'm aiming for. I wouldn't call that a candy comic if it was a comic book, obviously. But I think that's a story that is delivered on all those levels, and has, you know, rewatchability and repeat interest. That's the goal. Okay. Matt V just created a logo that directly ties into that thought process: trust, personal honor, etc. Okay, well, I hope that inspired you to create something really great. Good evening. Thanks for making you feel old. Well, we are what we are. There's a lot of life left. Rocking the stash. Yeah, I'm starting to like it. I think I'm good with it. My dad had a mustache when I was a kid. I think it makes me look more fatherly. And I'm trying to get Elizabeth pregnant too, so I think it ups the game. Kentron, yeah, it says Breitweiser Brubaker to Naples, and gives a big thumbs up. Thank you. Ed was a good dude to work with, and learned a lot from the way he unfolded his stories. He's very good. And Elizabeth did a beautiful, beautiful job on the work that she did for them into Naples. Yeah, I need to reach out to Doug and see how he's doing. I'm sure he's doing great. He's an impressive worker. Will I cross-promote Red Rooster with FFA? I don't know what that is. I wonder if society has become so degenerate that creating stories for all ages is difficult to do. I do not think so. And I don't think people are naturally degenerative. I think, I don't know. That's soft ground. I don't want to come with that with half-formed thoughts. That's a good way to think. It is pattern related. I think so. I think it's just the way my brain is particularly wired, which has somehow led me here, which is kind of nuts. So make of that what you will. So I think visually, and that's a new word for me. Idiotically, I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. A man with a vision is exceptionally rare these days. Don't sell yourself short, Mitch. At the moment, I don't know, not like a guy with a vision, just a guy who had great conversations with good people that led a horse to water, and then the horse found the right friends. So I'm not a visionary. I'm just a dude. But thank you. Someone's heart getting ripped out of their chest is okay, right? Metaphorically, maybe. No, I think I'm establishing some rules. And I have a point of view about where these things live and who they're for and what experiences happen and what kind of bonding happens through these things, both between the books themselves and the characters themselves and an individual, and that individual and sharing it with other people, including their children. And I think if I've achieved that visual, then what we've done is a success. And I think wildly so. Spirit's Car. Comic book stores are about as good as dead. Are you aiming at newsstand distribution, maybe digest or paperback size? I think all of those are interesting ideas. And I've thought about a lot of these things a great deal with my associates and friends. And I'll have more to say about that later, for sure. Too many drift into, Aldous says, too many drift into obscurity without reaching. Life's hard. Just, just try to see it. Lumberjack Lynn says, cool mustache dude. We are excited for the comic and stories to come. Thank you, dude. Nice, thank you. Thumbs up, thank you. Stash up for the tea. Practice, practice, practice. That always helps, especially when you're young. If you're a young person, get really good at something. Drawing or whatever, get good at something. Does Elizabeth know of these plans? Yes, Elizabeth helped me hatch these plans. I couldn't do it without her, and she is a nearly perfect specimen of a woman. Storming in Tennessee, about to lose power. Sorry to hear that. My editor-in-chief lives in Tennessee. I hope he stays up. He's got to write the future script, which is really good. He pitched me issues 2 and 3 the other day, which I know most of the story and we hatched it all together, but he's taking it and we were able to open it up. Everything feels so compressed if you're stuck with like, oh, can I do a one comic book and pitch it? You have to get your whole say in one issue, but the way we're doing it, we can open it up a little bit more, and that's opened up a lot of cool new directions, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Somebody sent a super chat. I'm better read that real quick. How do I see it on my phone? Okay, I have to scroll. Exterminatus. That is a powerful name. Thank you for $5. Thoughts on tragedy comic centered around a Christian superhero? That doesn't give me a lot of data. So, I mean, it could be bad or it could be good. I'm of the opinion that you can take just about anything. Just about anything. I mean, anything reasonably compelling and make something out of it. But that, I'm sorry, that I gave you terrible advice. I mean, I gave you good advice, but it probably wasn't really what you paid me $5 to hear. Thoughts on a tragedy comic centered around a Christian superhero. Tragedy comic. Let me take those elements and consider them and see what I really think about them. Tragedy comic, because you gave me $5 and it's worth my consideration. Tragedy comic and a Christian superhero. It's hard to say exactly because my initial reaction still applies. That's not a lot of stuff to go on. I think it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you are a Christian person trying to get across a Christian message that is overly, not as overly, but it is specifically meant to aim people towards your Christian faith, then I would really consider your target audience. And always, because you have to, if you're a Christian person, be honest in your approach to everybody. So you can never present a Christian comic that is directly aimed towards converting people, I think, as something that you're not. So that would be the first moral consideration I would think about. And I don't know why my mind went there first, but I think that's how I have to jump through things. Think about that. I think any story could be, tragedy, Christian superhero could be really interesting and good. Just, in my opinion, make it for as many people as possible and be honest as possible. And if you want to make it specifically for a Christian audience, if it's deliberately aiming toward conversion, then of your reader, then finding an audience for it would be extremely difficult because you can't be deceptive in your approach, and a Christian audience is already converted. So there you go, problem solved. That would be a bad idea, an irrational approach. But I think you can aim to reinforce and inspire the beliefs of Christian believers through a Christian-based superhero. Just be honest in your approach to them. And I think that is an audience that is in need of service from time to time. And just do good work by them. So I don't know. I hope those help. Hope those are helpful thoughts. Those are at least just considerations based on the concepts that you threw at me. Matt V says the Action Bible sold a ton. Yes, it did sell a ton. Sergio Argo. No, I forgot his name. Somebody drop it in the chat. Remind me. Seems like a very good dude. And he sold a lot of those books, and that is absolutely wonderful. And they're beautiful. I bought one. And brought it in the office to show. I bought it at a Walmart and brought it in the office to show my business partner, and he said, "Oh, I'd like to take this and show my daughter. She's like 12, 13." I said, "Oh, sure." And I haven't seen it since. Sergio Cariello. So I only got to thumb through it. And I haven't thought to ask for it back because I really don't care. I mean, I care about the book and the work, and I would like the book back eventually, but I'm not a stickler for those kinds of things. That's what I'm saying. You got to be very specific about what you say on the internet, or else you'll get in trouble. Okay. All right. Exterminator says, you were the super chat person, right? Yes. The point is to glorify God and to have a telling of the Bible stories such as Job, Sodom, David, and Goliath. I think those are wonderful. I think those are wonderful stories to tell. And I think if the point is to glorify God, and that is, and you seem like you're totally honest to that approach, and you're motivated to do so, then I say go for it. I love old Bible stories, and you grew up on them and all that kind of good stuff. And I think they're of value. Okay. Somebody's yo tickle my scrote message deleted. Do we have trolls finally? Okay. Well, we have moderators doing work, but I will be banning, or or time outing people. So probably that's something that I set out in the last thing, is defining how it works with moderators. Because we're going to establish a culture and weed the garden and all that kind of good stuff. This is going to be a fun place where I'm just chit-chatting. But yeah, I want to keep it pretty positive. And in keeping, like I said, I want a through line through everything they're doing with the design. I want a through line as well with everything that we're doing in terms of our content. So I'm going to try to govern my language a little bit, although I can't be perfect. While you guys can cut loose, there could be moms or dads listening with their kids in the room, and that should be okay here. I just always have to consider that's a possibility, and I don't want to be incongruent with the product we're making for everybody too. So, like I said, it's a culture. I'm establishing a culture, and you guys are helping us do it. The one last thing, and this is the thing it's been on my mind the last couple of days, because the work I've been doing the last little bit has been so taxing mentally that for the last week I've been like thinking about what lies ahead and what I'd almost rather be doing just like right now. And all I want to do, and it's the middle of summer too, so it's time to do this. I want to throw hay. That's all I want to do. I want to move hay from one spot to another. I don't want to think about anything. This has been like my dream for like the last 3 nights, and I've told a couple people and they've laughed, and I just thought it was worth sharing. Like, I think whatever happens on the other side of a comic book career, or doing this publishing venture or whatever, whatever I do after this, I want hay to be involved in some way. Like, I want to work outside. If this is successful, I think I'd want to like buy like 5 or 6 acres and just move out. And we live in a decent, Little Rock is a nice town, and it's affordable to live pretty well here. But I think I just want to get the hell out of town eventually, and just throw hay around. I'd prefer it to be my own hay. Just have some, I don't know. I just want to work outside for a while. I'm sure I'll get some hay and some real roosters. Yes. And I think Elizabeth and I both grew up in farm adjacent families. Hers was far more farm oriented than mine. But those are some of our roots, and I just feel like I want to get outside. I'm tired of being in indoor, kept indoors too much, and she is too. And all this office related work and stuff and talking. Sometimes you just want to like take hay and move it there. Take hay and move it there, and get some vitamin D, and don't talk to anybody. It's a crazy life when you get to that point, and that's like where you want to. That's what you'd rather be doing. I love this, and I love this is fun, and this is great, and what we're doing is gonna be awesome. But I need to get some farm air. Rajman Von Wallet says, I'm a country boy, tried to live in cities and town and just can't do it. See, I grew up in kind of a town. I grew up in town, but Grandpa had a farm, a couple of farms, cattle farms, but nobody lived on the farm. Elizabeth, her dad was a principal, her mom was a teacher, and she lived in town too, but her grandmother lived on their cattle farm, her grandmother and grandfather. So they spent all that time there in the summer on the farm. So was spent more time on the farm than I did. Yeah, but they would go out and just grab the chickens and bap. And they'd run around, and she'd have to grab them all bloody and stuff, and then they'd come in and just fry them. like every day. I bet it was delicious. Okay. Anyway, there's a glimpse of, you know, the life of young Elizabeth and young Mitch, and that's definitely some of where Red Rooster comes from. Yeah, I'm sure it was awesome. Elizabeth has very fond memories of her time out on the farm, and I do too. And I think I'd like to move out of town at some point. Moving hay with the pitchfork. All right. Okay. It was fun. We've been here for a long time. I didn't mean to talk this long. Appreciate you guys for hanging in there. Thanks for monitoring the chat. And if we need to ban people, we'll just ban people. Don't want to be too harsh, but we'll figure out a game plan. I want to have some organization before we take drastic measures. Anyway, we'll figure it out. All right. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in.